This program is designed for as one of the community service initiative by Institute of Engineers WA chapter. This video is going to be super important since I'm going to give you a lot of information that is required to crack your PTE test in first attempt. This program can even consider for a beginner because I'm going to give you all the tips and strategies, even that is good for a beginner. Other thing is this video might go beyond 1 hour. Those who can stay until end of my presentation, please, I would suggest you to participate for the Q&A session also at the end of the session. Where you have some time to discuss questions if you have in any of the languages that you are comfortable with, either Sinhalese or English. Otherwise, this video is being recorded and I can make sure that this link is being shared with you. To accommodate that, please, I suggest you to share the email addresses in the chat box. Okay, now I will let you know a bit about myself. Those who don't know me, I'm Nelupa. I have done the PTE test in year 2022 for the first time, and I was successfully able to get my desired score by following all these strategies that I'm going to share with you today. Things have changed when we compare the test format in year 2022 and now. In this video, I will share all those updated strategies and updated templates as well. And I will also explain you what are the things that are not going to work anymore and what are the things that you should consider about in this test. This is an international English language test that is required to pass to get through for the study visa, permanent residence, or work permits. This basically got 4 modules: speaking, writing, reading, and listening. And altogether for this exam, you will get 20 different question types. And other important thing is that this test is having an integrated scoring system. What does that mean? This means one question can give marks for other module. For example, if we take the question repeat sentence, it gives marks both for speaking and listening. Therefore, this is going to be very important to know the marking criteria and super important questions. You can see here there are 4 super important questions. So those gives very high score for the overall test. And if you see these MCQs that are lying at the bottom, they actually do not give a very high weightage for the test, and you just do not want to worry too much practicing these kind of MCQs for listening and in reading sections. The test goes around 2 hours, and not like before, you do not have during the test. Once the test is started, you will have to finish it in the single go. Throughout the test, other important thing I should mention to you is use either UK English or US English. You cannot mix both within the test or within the module. Okay, now let's discuss a bit about the headset and everything. Before starting the test, you will have to check your microphone. This is really important. Remember, the test is completely computer-based test. There is no any person, no any human involvement to check and understand what you are trying to say. So you need to make sure your microphone is proper and working, as well as you can hear your voice properly. You will have a screen like this where you can check your volume and sound output and the recording you are giving. You are given a headset to listen and speak your answers during both listening and speaking modules. All your spoken answers will be recorded on a microphone. So you need to know how to use it. That's really important. Andrea EDU 455. This is the exact same model that you will be given during the test. This has a noise cancelling feature. What does that mean? The microphone will only capture your voice. By the time you take the test room is a bit noisy. So all the other noises will be ignored and only your speaking output, your voice is being captured by this particular headphone. So you will get this kind of headset, and there are even used ones. You can buy them online for practicing purposes. You can use any kind of headphone to practice before your test. that's fine. This is just for you to just familiarize how to use a headphone. That's why I suggest you practice using any kind of a headphone. Other special thing is you need to check your pen, marker, as well as your highlighter is working. And if it is not, just raise your hand. The room is under video surveillance, and you can ask for an extra pen and marker, whatever you need. The examiner, the instructor will come and give you a new one. Also check your keyboard is whether working. So just try to type one letter each and see whether it is working. If not, ask help again. Just raise your hand. There has been such cases also in the past. Try to check everything before you take the test. You have to be very calm as well as confident and easy. Stay focused 100%. When you go for the test room, you will have about 6 to 8 people sitting in the same test room taking the test at the same time. When you start the test, it can be a bit louder and there can be a lot of noise inside the room. So you have to focus. You have to stay focused on what you are doing and ignore any other noises around you. Whenever you practice, also try to practice with some kind of background noises because the test is going held in a noisy environment. I have also done one background noise video in my channel, which I can share at the end of my presentation. Right. Microphone here is actually very sensitive. Do not touch while taking the test. Do not keep very close to your mouth or keep very far away from you. Also, do not change the position again and again while taking the test. Just set it and move on. Just keep parallel to your mouth, somewhere between your nose and mouth, roughly like 2-3 fingers away from you. That's absolutely fine. Next thing is actually you have to start the test with a personal introduction. After your headset set up and everything, very first thing you have to do is the personal introduction. This is just to get you started. This is not being evaluated, and you do not really want to worry about what you are talking about. You will have roughly about 25 seconds to prepare, and you will also have 30 seconds to talk about yourself. You can maybe talk about your name, your educational details, what are your future plans, your hobbies, anything for up to 30 seconds. Okay, now let's started with the speaking module. Speaking module is the very first task that you are going to do in this stage. You will have basically 5 different question types. Speaking, we can say, is the backbone of the PT test. If you take this screenshot here, you can see these highlighted questions are the speaking questions. Those are either super important or very important. So please try to do more practices and do especially practice the repeat sentence, read aloud, describe image, and read a lecture, because those are giving very high amount of marks out of 90 from the overall test. You can see here altogether we have 5 different questions. Let me start with the first question type, that is read aloud. You can see here, read aloud overall uh, give marks, contribute marks for speaking and reading, and it gives roughly 22 points each for speaking and reading. This is what I told you before, that this test is having integrated scoring system. So this task is really important. Now let's discuss a bit more about this question, how you can face for this question. You will first be given a text on your screen and you have to read it aloud. Once the text appear in the screen, you will have about 40 seconds roughly to prepare. Once that 40 seconds are gone, your microphone will open up and then you will hear a beep sound, which means that recording has started. And that is the time you will have to start speaking. And then you start speaking for about, I would say, 35 to 40 seconds. Other thing is you will be given about roughly 6 to 7 questions of these, and this question is mainly assessed based on 3 parameters. You will be given 5 points for fluency, 5 points for pronunciation, and 5 points for content. Now let's see how the question will look like. See the question prompt here, and the timer is there, and you will have a text on the screen to read out. Almost similar. Once you finish speaking, just click to the next button to go to the next question. Try to do more and more practices using any of the apps. Practicing, you will be able to understand where you are at fluency, pronunciation, and content. Okay, now let's discuss some more things that you need to be aware when we consider this test. What is fluency? Fluency means that speaking at a moderate pace. It is not speaking either very fast or very slow. Try to avoid unnatural hesitations and do not try to do any self corrections. Still, it's okay for you to have any natural pauses. Try your best to speak smoothly. I will do one example with you in a short while. And other thing is, do not do too many pauses. So try to take the pauses, especially at full stops or commas. Pronunciation. When we talk about pronunciation, it means that you have to speak clearly. As long as you speak clearly, you will be fine. Other thing is, you do not need to copy any kind of accent. Right. When we talk about content, you do not need to omit any word. To read out all the full content here. Especially when you read out, try to make sure that you focus on s and ed sounds at the end of the words. For example, if you take words, you cannot say word. You have to say words. Properly pronounce and stress the s and ed sounds at the end of the word. That's really important. Way of speaking these numbers. So you have to say $20, 1996. These are really important. Try to use standard form of verbal communication. And when we talk about this, you cannot say that is. You have to say that's. So try to read out exactly the same way. I actually have done one example for this one.
Across the globe, there is a widespread effort to explore methods for extracting carbon dioxide from the atmosphere or power plant emissions and transforming it into a valuable resource. Among the various ideas being explored, the concept of converting carbon dioxide into a stable fuel shows significant promise.
This is how you have to read. So why I showed this to you is just to let you know this is the speed you have to speak. Do not speak too fast or do not speak very slow. This kind of speed, this kind of clarity would still be fine. Right. And now let's move to the second question type. This is repeat sentence. When you see this scorecard, you can see this is the most important question. You will be given 32 out of 90. You will also be given marks for listening. Therefore, this task is really important, super important question. I will give you more detail about this question and how I attend this question with some strategies. Let's move on to the next slide. What happens here? You will hear an audio of a sentence that can be anywhere up to about 8 to 16 words long. Once the audio finishes, within a half a second, almost immediately after the audio, your recording will start. And you will have to repeat the sentence exactly as you hear it. Remember, don't speak immediately after sound stop. Sometimes your first word or words might not capture. So just wait half a second. And other special thing is do not silent for more until 3 seconds. Otherwise, the mic go off. That's really important. Be mindful about that when you practice also. You will be given roughly 10 to 12 questions for this type repeat sentence also. Marking criteria: fluency 5 points, pronunciation 5 points, content 3 points. I will explain why they give 3 points here and how you can score full marks or closer to 2 points. Okay, this is how your screen is going to look like. Audio will go on, and once the audio finishes, the recording starts. In this speaking test, except for all the other question type in this repeat sentence, when the recording finishes, you will not hear beep sound. All the other questions, you will hear a beep sound, then only you can start speaking. So remember this one, there is no beep sound for repeat sentences. You will have to keep your eyes on the screen. As soon as the recording bar says that starting recording now, you will have to start talking. Once you finish speaking, click the next so that you can go to the next question. When we talk about fluency, as I mentioned before, it is not about speaking very fast. Do not throw off the sentence also. Speak in a very calm, composed manner. Do not try to speak very slow or fast. And as I have mentioned before, avoid any kind of hesitations. Don't try to do any corrections. If you made a mistake, for example, just forget it and keep going. Just say as much as you remember the sentence and speak clearly. Another thing is try not to memorize. Try, if possible, try to understand the sentences by meaningful chunks. So that's what I did. Try to get the idea in chunks. When we talk about pronunciation, just as long as if you speak clearly, that you are fine. When we talk about content, I told you can get easily 2 points. Content, what is content? It's a bit tricky actually. If you repeat 100% of the content, you will get 3 points out of 3. If you repeat more than 50% and less than 100%, you will be able to easily score 2 points. If you speak between 25 to 50%, then you will be only given 1 point out of 3. But honestly speaking, I got 89 out of 90 for my speaking. I actually was not able to repeat 100%. As far as I remember, I only repeated around 80 to 85%. So it's easy to score 2 marks. Another thing is grammar is not important here. So they do not check whether the sentence that you are reading out is grammatically correct. Another thing is, from my experience, I can tell you that you do not need to repeat 100%. So as I mentioned before, try to repeat 80% of the content. Obviously, try to maximize the content. Another thing, accent. If sometimes some questions are a bit difficult, the later part of the questions are going to be a bit difficult. Accent, if the accent was difficult and if the sentence was played very fast, because there are some sentences that's going to be played very fast, so there's nothing you can do there. So try to repeat as much as speak clearly, and you will still be able to get the desired score. What you have to focus is understand sentences in chunks, try to remember, speak it clearly, confidently. Out of these questions, as I mentioned before, 8 to 10 will be easy and 2, 3, 4 will be difficult. Do not stop. What does that mean? Why did I say here is, example, if you get a statement like this, the art museum is located across the street near the theater. For example, forgot the last bit, and if you only remember a set of words, just read it out. You can maybe say the art museum located across the street. That's totally fine. Just speak whatever you could clearly, smoothly, without hesitations. Again, I can say you another thing. You can maybe even add a filler. You can say the art museum located across the street, and I'm happy. That's still fine because fluency should not go down. If you repeated more than 50% content, you could get 2 by 3 easy. And you will get full points for fluency and pronunciation if you speak smoothly. So that's why I told you that you can maybe even add a filler. And other thing is initial strategy. This is one other trick that you can do. You can write first alphabet of each word that's been heard. If that's actually applicable if you are a fast writer, I would suggest just try to memorize, understand the sentence, and repeat it. Try to find best method that works for you. So these are some tricks that you can follow. I also say that actually this question can be a bit challenging if you're not practicing on daily basis. Try to practice 30 to 35. If you do so, you will be fine. Now let's discuss the task 3, describe image. So this question type also really important because it gives you roughly 22 points for speaking. This will only contribute marks for speaking. So again, I have to let you know, since until November 2024 last year, used to use templates. Now that's not going to work anymore. Pearson has installed artificial intelligence software that detect templates. So memorized answers will get caught. So now it will work anymore. It will get penalized. So to get full points for the describe image, you will have to make sure that you speak relevant content from the image. Try to use relevant content from the image. So I'm stressing this. This is the latest change for describe image. You will get a line graph or pie chart. It can be a random image. Uh, and you will have roughly 25 seconds to prepare. You will be given about 40 seconds to speak. You will have roughly 3 to 4 images in the test. And this test is also again assessed under 3 parameters: fluency, pronunciation, and content. You will be given 5 marks each. So as I mentioned before, do not try relying on any memorized information. This means that you should speak relevant to the image that is being given to you. So now I will show you one example here. This is how your screen will going to look like. You will have an image over here, and next to that you will see the recording bar. The timer will also display. You will have some numbers, and you will be given some time for the preparation, as this question says. Now I will let you know what are some things that you should be considering when we consider this question type describe image. Fluency again, as I mentioned before, try to speak in a smooth flow. This question is again assessed in 3 parameters, as I mentioned before. The second one is the pronunciation. As long as you speak clear, you will be fine. You do not need to copy any kind of accent. English test is designed for non-native speakers like us. So it does understand all kind of accents. So make sure to speak clear. That's it. Content relevant to the image, speak relevant to the image. Make sure you speak on the image provided. So other thing I have to say, there is no right or wrong answer here. You do not need to speak too many details also. If you are not 100% accurate, that's still fine. But whatever you speak, you should talk based on the image. And what I suggest here is, even though you are given 40 seconds to speak, try to speak roughly 30 seconds. That's fine. Just speak around 30 seconds and then click to the next button to go to the next question. That's still fine. I also used only 30 seconds roughly, and I also was able to get good marks. For example, if you have less keywords, repeat the same again and again. That's still fine. Sometimes in some describe images, you might not have much content. To keep the flow of speaking, you can repeat some keywords in different ways. Right, now let's discuss one example here. I will show you what structure works here. You can say, for example, as per the first statement, you can mention the image type, bar graph. We can say, depending on the type, the bar graph gives information about, then you can say the title. And then you can say, if you had x and y axes like this, for example, you can start this sentence like the x-axis represent this and y-axis represent that. Then image includes, just highlight 2 or 3 key elements taken from the image. You can say use these numbers, and you can then say, firstly, you can describe few more details from the image. And then again, in addition, speak about 1 or 2 another elements from the image. That's fine. And if you had like highest values, lowest values, you can highlight those things, and you can again say further discuss the remaining elements from the image. And then finally, you should include a concluding sentence. In conclusion, you can say, to conclude, the image provides information about how many tourists visit Canada each year. You can use any kind of structure, practice more and more daily basis. Based on any of the structures that you like. In this structure, we can still use. This does not have lots of memorized information as we used before. So this is the structure. Now I will show you one example here, which I have done already to demonstrate this should be so done. You can say this bar graph gives information about how many tourists visit Canada each year. The x-axis represent different years, and The y-axis represent inbound tourist arrivals in millions, which are 0, 5, 15, and 25. The image include different years, namely 2017, 19, 20, and 23. Like this, you can read out. Firstly, you can say some numbers, and then in addition, some other numbers, highest value, lowest value, and then further latest year of 2022-3 has percentage of these, and in concluding sentence. This is how you have to do this describe image. And now I will show you the types of images that you will be given in this test. These are the line graphs, pie charts, and you will also be given tables. Like this, highlight the maximum minimum values. Sometimes you can use these transition words like increase, decrease, stable, fluctuate. I will show you the other type, that is the process cycles. You will be also given process cycles like this, include the steps or stages, and then you can say maybe this is the first step and then last step is this one, and then you can use transition words like first, then, next, final. And then the other type you will be given for the describe images, photographs, and pictures. You can maybe say the main subject. You can say the things available in the background. You can even say there are several colors, and these are the colors. And you can explain what are the things available at the top, left, bottom, and what are the things available in the background. And maps and diagrams is the other type. You will also be given this kind of images for the describe image. Describe the location is important here. The placement, you can say at the top it is available, what is available at the bottom, what is there at the right and left. Use directions appropriately, and try to highlight the directional trends or some kind of regions. So you can even use north, south, east, west, and what is available to the northeast corner, or so on. Okay, now let's move to the next question type, that is the retail lecture. This question also really important because it's giving roughly 10 each for speaking and listening. So now let's discuss more about this question. You will be given basically an audio. Sometimes it will come with a video also. And it for around 40 to 90 seconds. What you have to do is, while audio is going on, try to take down some notes. You will be given roughly 10 seconds to prepare, and then you will have 40 seconds to retell the lecture, and you will have 1 or 2 questions in the exam. Again, for this question also, you will be given 5 points each for fluency, pronunciation, and content. Again, fluency is speaking at a smooth flow. Pronunciation is try to speak clearly. For the content, Pearson has launched a template detector, as I mentioned before, for the retail lecture also. Therefore, do not try to use relevant content like we did before, memorize sentences that are going to be captured. So try to speak the topic. If you speak off topic, you will be penalized. The thing is, if they detect any template, you will be penalized and you will get 0 for this question. So you can still use the structure, but do not use memorize sentences. That's the key here. I will show you one example here that you will have the recording. This recording will go on. After recording finishes, you have to start speaking. Here the status bar and then recording bar. And after preparation in this question, you will hear a beep sound. You have to speak only after the beep sign. If you are given an image, in some cases I have seen images are also provided. You can use some phrases or words based on the image also. Now let's discuss further things that you should be aware when taking this retail lecture. I have mentioned you before, speaking smoothly is the fluency, and don't speak too fast. Pronunciation is speaking clearly. For content, try to keywords from different sentences from the audio. If you take one word from different places and speak that do not make any sense, that's going to be a trouble. So it used to work before, but now it's not going to work anymore. So for content, you will have to speak relevant content, at least 3 to 6 phrases from the lecture. For this one also, there is no right or wrong answer, so you can speak in your own words. Here, I would suggest you to speak about 35 seconds, and while you speak, do not stop. Even if you run out of ideas, try to say something. Even you can repeat some same keywords. If you have less keywords, sometimes lectures might be very short with 3 sentences, and you can repeat those 3 sentences in different ways. That's the only thing you can do. You try to speak 35 seconds, so make sure you use relevant content from the given lecture. Structure. Use a structure, that's fine, but memorize templates is the problem. So do not try to repeat the same sentence again and again from the structure also. For example, I heard about this, I heard about that, I heard about another. You cannot talk like that. He told about that, he told about this. You cannot use that kind of a structure. Those were also used to work, but not now anymore. Grammar is still not important for this one. Vocabulary is also not important here. No need to use any fancy words or difficult words, but you try to use the words that you can pronounce clearly. So you are not going to lose points for your pronunciation. Now I will going to give you a structure that still works. You can say the topic. You might, you know that the topic, what's the topic here. So you can say topic was the main lecture. Main of the lecture. Firstly, he mentioned you can include one phrase here. Furthermore, he discussed about, you can add another set of keywords here. And then furthermore, lecture had details about, you can add some more keywords that you have noted. In addition, another phrase, and then also another phrase from the lecture. Okay, finally, you have to conclude this with a concluding idea. You can say, overall, the lecture was about this topic and discuss this and that. What you have to do here, try to take down short sentences or maybe word phrases and make a story by yourself. Even that story is not exactly the same as per the lecture, that's still fine. Just use keywords from the lecture, and grammar is still not important. I mentioned this before. As long as you speak clearly, smoothly, without stopping, without hesitation, you will be fine. This sound might be difficult to you if you are a beginner, but this comes with practice. If you practice 2 or 3 retail lectures every day, you will be fine. Try to practice taking down notes clearly. Do not try to write each and everything from the lecture. That's also not necessary, because they are not expecting you to tell 100% content in this particular time frame. So that's actually impossible. Focus just on noting down keywords which you hear. Once you finish writing, you can read out. Try to write bit fast. Try to practice writing fast. Try to write clearly also. This comes always with the practice. If you do like this, you will be 100% okay. You will be able to crack your test if you follow these strategies. Further thing I'm going to tell you here is, you can still take down the easy words. Try to note down difficult words. Try to write neatly. It's okay to write less words neatly, repeat different content rather than write lots of things and you can't read. Take the notes in an organized manner. Try to practice and find a way that how you can write these and how you can practice these days. Just focus on the topic. Try to get 4 or 5 key phrases from the lecture. If you miss something, don't worry about it, and then you can move to the next idea. Another thing is, you have to use appropriate connectors. You have to say firstly at the first sentence, and then further, moreover, however, and then finally you have to add a overall, or you can say to conclude. Other thing is, practice active listening. Especially, this is really important. Make sure you practice, understand the topic. Do not try to focus to write everything. Try to understand little while you take down the notes. Another thing is adapt to the text length, lecture length. If sometimes the lecture can be a bit focus slow. On writing 4 or 5 phrases, that's still fine. If the lecture was a bit short, write down at least 2 or 4 key points from the lecture, and you can even maybe repeat the same phrases or same keywords. Practice note taking. Another thing is handling unfamiliar topic. If there was something that topic was a bit unfamiliar to you, you have not came across that before, just focus on what you had already written, and then maybe you can repeat that in different words. How you have to do here, I would do one example with some keywords. These are the keywords I have noted down from the lecture. I will let you know how I can this retail lecture based on this structure. Renewable energy was the main topic of the lecture. Firstly, he mentioned that towards renewable energy makes a significant shift how we approach energy consumption and environmental sustainability. Furthermore, he discussed about solar, wind, and thermal power. Further, the lecture had details about greenhouse gas emissions and climate change. In addition, the renewable energy sector is rapidly growing. Also, a pathway to a more energy independence is important. Overall, the lecture was about transitioning to cleaner, more sustainable ways of living. This kind of flow, this kind of speed is still fine. If you speak clearly like this, you will be 100% okay. Right. Now, I will go to the fifth question type. That is the last question type in speaking. As you can see here, this is not very important. You will only be given roughly 2.5 points for speaking, and you will get about 6 points for listening. You do not need to waste much time on practicing answer short questions just before 1 or 2 weeks for the exam. Just try to practice the monthly prediction. Okay, you will basically be given 5 or 6 questions, and that will be based on general knowledge. Audio will go on. Once the audio stops, after about 1 or 2 seconds, you will have to provide your answer. Give the response in few words. No need to speak whole sentences. Just 1, 2, 3 words are fine. For the correct answer, you will get 1 point. For wrong answer, you do not get. This is how your screen is going to look like. As soon as the question appear, you have just 2 seconds. 2 seconds it will play, and then you will not be penalized for any wrong answers provided. Just try to say something. Even try and do a guess. Sometimes your guess might be correct since there are no negative marks. You can even repeat some words from the question. Here, these are the things to note. Give short answers. Long answers are not necessary. PT not expecting you to provide full sentences grammatically correct. Just give short answers to the point. If you're not sure, just sometimes your guess might be correct. So as I mentioned before, try to maybe even repeat the question, part of the question. I will give you one trick here again, which I used and which worked for me. If there was a question with option to select, read out both answers. For example, if one question says, which is the tallest building in the world? Maybe the answer is Burj Khalifa, or maybe the second option is Shanghai Tower. Try to say both words. The computer will only capture the correct answer. From whatever you speak, you will get 1 point. So this method still works. So try to say both the answers. Other thing is, as I have mentioned before, stay quiet. Say something. Need to answer within 3 seconds, otherwise the mic go off. Therefore, be vigilant and try to answer quickly before 3 seconds goes. And then you can press the next button to go to the next question. As I mentioned before, try to practice the monthly predictions. That's more than enough for this question type. This one I actually took from APUNI application. This is the June monthly prediction for this month. This kind of questions you will be given for the exam. And these are the answers for that. Okay, now this is the end of the speaking module. So I will go through the summary that we discussed just now. There are basically 5 questions. Out of 5, 4 questions are really important, super important questions, because this is we can consider as the backbone of the PT test. If you do more practices for repeat sentence read alouds, you will be fine. Okay, this is the first part of your exam, and this contribute marks heavily for the overall test. If you do practices, you will be fine. This can be easy. If you do not do much practices, this can be a difficult question. So try to do more practices, then you will be fine. Now let's move to the writing module. Writing module has basically two questions. Mainly two questions. Summarize written text. You will be given one or two questions, and you have mostly you will be given just one essay. Sometimes there are incidents that two essays also be given. So these two questions are really important. We will discuss this one by one. First one is the summarize written text. This is the very first task in writing. This is very important, as well as this is very easy. I will let you know how you can attempt this question to get full points. You do not have to do especially much here, so there are tricks to follow. So I will let you know how you can get through this test. You will basically be given marks for writing and reading. You will get a passage of about roughly 300 words. Sometimes you will be given 2 or 3 paragraphs, or sometimes you will be given a single paragraph. And you will have 10 minutes to summarize. Once you have the passage in the screen, read it out, provide a summary. You have to provide the summary in one sentence. That is the most important thing. What does that mean? You should have only one full stop at the end of the sentence. Another thing is, sentence can be between 5 to 75 words. If you 75 words, you will be penalized. So try to stick to the word limit, and you will be given 1 or 2 questions in the exam. This question is assessed based on 4 parameters: 2 points for content, 1 for form, and 2 points for grammar and spelling. And you will be also given 2 points for vocabulary. And then if you satisfy the marking criteria, you will be fine. I will explain here, summarize written text a bit more. This question, you can see here that the instructions are given. Here you have 2 paragraphs. There is a timer, and then this is the space that's been given to provide your answer. When we talk about content, you need to include at least 6 or 7 keywords. That's absolutely fine. If you have more than 7 keywords, that's still fine. Minimum range is 6 to 7 keywords. Then you will be fine for content. You are not expected to cover 100. You cannot type everything because there is a word limit. 1 point for firm. What does that mean? You have to write within 5 to 75. If you write more than 75 words, you will get 0. That means they do not even check grammar or word limit is really important. So I actually would suggest here to just to write 60 or 65 words. That's absolutely fine. And again, for 2 points for grammar and spelling, this is pretty simple. For example, if there is no any grammar or there is no any spelling mistakes, you will be given 2 by 2. And if there was one grammar error, you will only be given just 1 by 2. And if there were more than one grammatical errors or spelling mistakes, you will not be given points for this grammar or spelling. So I suggest here just to use the words from the passage to avoid any deduction. I also did that way. If you are confident, you can change 1 or 2 words. If you are using the same words from the passage, that's absolutely fine. Now I will let you know how you can follow this format. Here I have provided you 2 methods. But first one is, I actually do not recommend this one. Read the passage, get the idea, and you can frame the sentence by yourself. This is a bit tough to do within just 10 minutes of time frame within the exam condition. I actually face the test with this method too. You can just start with first sentence, comma, and second sentence, comma, furthermore, third sentence. All those 3 sentences I have taken from the passage and I have written in the space provided. Okay, this is one example I have done. This one I have taken from A Puni. Let's say this passage, and then first sentence I actually took from this first most one, because most of the introduce the main topic, so that includes relevant keywords. So keep the first letter as per the same way, like capital, and then after added, then comma, and you can add another second sentence here. When you add the second sentence, try to be mindful here. You cannot put capital letters after after and. The second sentence should be simple, starting with simple letter here. It shouldn't be capitalized. Another thing is, if you find any proper nouns, for example, name of a person, place, sometimes languages, religion, those words you cannot change the alphabet to simple letter. You can still keep that one as capital. If you cannot meet the word limit with the three sentences, still you can add another sentence. Maybe you can add with another comma, moreover, comma, then the fourth sentence, and then finally a full stop. In any case, if the sentences were very short, if you are still under bit low word count for the given word limit, then still again you can add another comma, say however, again comma, and then the fifth sentence. Take roughly 1 to 2 minutes to identify the first sentence, about 3 minutes to write, and then at least another minute to proofread, because proofreading is really important to make sure that when you are transferring, there are no any spelling mistakes. So this is what you have to do here. This 100% works. There is no need to rephrase any sentences. If you're 100% comfortable, that's fine. You can change one or two words. This is still 100% okay to exactly copy and paste and write the summary for this question. Okay, next question type is writing essay. That's the second question type for the writing section. This will contribute only points for writing. You will be roughly given this kind of points for writing. What happens here? You will get an essay, and you will have to write an essay for about words 200 to 300 words. You will be given roughly 20 minutes to complete this task. You will be given basically most probably one essay in the exam. You will be evaluated based on 7 parameters: content, grammar, spelling, form, vocab, linguistic language, development, structure. I will explain these each of these things in next slides. Let's talk about now content. When we talk about content, make sure you address the essay topic properly. For example, if the question was asking about right advantages and disadvantages and give your opinion, you will have to address all those things. You have to write advantages, disadvantages, and you have to say something about as per your opinion. We have to have 3 paragraphs in the middle. If you write about advantages and if you couldn't address disadvantages, or if you couldn't mention an opinion, then you will not be given full points for content. If you use templates or memorize answers, that's going to be a problem. Previously it worked for essay writing. We try to use memorize structure. It does not work anymore now. Right. For form, you will have to use 200 to 300 words. I suggest you to write around 250 to 270. If you exceed 300 or decrease 200, you are not able to meet the word limit, so you will get 0. Just try to manage the word count between 250 and 270. Now let's discuss the other things also. Grammar. There was no any grammar errors, you will be given full points. If there was just one grammatical error, you will be given 2 points. And if there was more than one grammatical errors, you will not be given any marks for grammar. Spelling also the same. If you do not have any spelling mistakes, full points. If you have one spelling mistakes, 1 out of 2. And then if you have more than errors, you will not be given marks for spelling also. When we talk about vocab, try to use academic words here. Do not try to use short forms like don't. Just say do not. Do not use these kind of abbreviations or short forms here. Or do not try to use any slang language. As I have mentioned before, try to stick to one particular method, like either American English or either British English. You cannot mix both. The thing is, especially give attention to capitalize the first alphabet pronouns, like a name of a person, city, country, organizations, weekdays, months, religions, nationalities, languages. Those kind of things are considered as proper nouns. So try to capitalize the first alphabet of that. And then sixth category is the development structure and coherence. That means you need to have an introduction and then positive argument, negative argument, and then conclusion, depending on the question type. Sometimes it can be agree, disagree. Say, so what are the points that you agree, why you do not agree, and then the concluding sentence. For development structure and coherence, make sure you use connectors here and have about 4 to 5 paragraphs depending on the structure. And then you relate the ideas properly to the topic. First, you have the introduction, as I mentioned before, and then based on the question type, you can include the paragraphs, and then finally you should have a conclusion. When we talk about a paragraph, generally we are writing first is the topic sentence. That is the introductory sentence of the particular paragraph, and then you give supporting sentence. That means further information about the topic sentence. And then third one is generally the example of that. Well, some you can maybe introduce an example, you can make up an example. It should not be a real life situation. And then finally concluding sentence. And when we talk about linguistic range, use various sentence structures. If you repeat same word again and again, then you will be penalized. The topic was about, like, for example, organic farming. You can repeat organic farming and that farming word 5, 6 times, but try not to repeat, for example, furthermore, it happened this way, and furthermore, again, furthermore. You cannot say that several times. Try to use connectors appropriately here. This is how your screen is going to look like. You have the instructions and then the essay topic, and this is the space that where you have to write your essay. And then there is a time also. Sometimes it appears at the bottom, sometimes at the top. You have the word count here. You can easily find the number of words you have written already. Okay, now let's discuss what are the things that you have to consider here. There are basically 3 essay types. You will be given agree, disagree, problem solution, or discussion essay. Total, you have 20 minutes. I would suggest you use first 30 seconds to just read the question and try to understand the question prompt. And then you can use 17 minutes roughly for writing, and then try to keep at least 2.5 minutes for proofreading, because this is really important. Otherwise, if you had any grammar errors or any spelling mistakes, you will be penalized. Try to use any kind of a structure. However, you have to add relevant content related to the topic. So memorize structures will get penalized. So you cannot use pre-memorized sentences or things like that. Now, let's discuss the structure of the essay. First, you can have the introductory paragraph. I have mentioned this before. So, first body paragraph, depending on the question type, you can include the positive argument or maybe the advantages, depending on the question type provided. Provide the first body paragraph and then the second body paragraph. Then finally, finish it with a concluding sentence. And then structure of the paragraph, I mentioned you before, just a general idea as per the topic sentence, and then the supporting idea or ideas. If you can provide even 2 sentences and then support it with a example. This is really important. Make up an example and then include it here, and then finally finish it with the concluding sentence. This is one example that I have done. So here you have the introduction and then 2 body paragraphs and then concluding sentence. Here number of words 257. This topic is about mass media and influence that it is making for teenagers. This asks about to what extent do you agree or disagree. So this has an introduction, and then second paragraph discuss the benefits to the younger people, and then this third paragraph discusses about the disadvantages. Finally, a concluding sentence.